Imagine a world where losing a limb isn't a permanent loss, but a temporary setback. Lizards, especially species like the axolotl, showcase extraordinary regenerative capabilities. When these creatures lose a tail or limb, specialized cells rush to the wound site. They form what's known as a blastema, a cluster of cells akin to stem cells. This blastema lays the groundwork for new tissues. What's fascinating is how these cells seem to turn back their biological clocks to a more primitive state, allowing them to morph into various needed cell types. Moreover, certain immune cells keep inflammation in check, critical for successful regeneration. And the connective tissue cells? They carry essential positional information, ensuring the new tissue forms correctly. Now, why can't humans do this? Firstly, our bodies replace about 10 billion cells daily. While this rapid cell division aids tissue regeneration, it's also a hallmark of cancer. Evolution might have dialed this ability down in humans as a trade-off to protect us from cancer. Secondly, although we share some genetic blueprints with salamanders, the genes crucial for regeneration may be inactive or altered in us. Unlocking these could be the breakthrough we need. Lastly, unlike lizards, humans have a harder time regenerating cartilage, particularly once we reach adulthood. However, recent studies hint that we might use similar molecules, microRNAs, like those in salamanders for potential limb regeneration. The boundary between science fiction and medical reality blurs as we delve deeper into these biological wonders. As future medical professionals, you might one day be at the forefront of turning this sci-fi dream into a reality. Who knows, maybe the next big medical breakthrough will come from one of you. Keep dreaming big and studying hard. Now let's consider how our body might react if we could regenerate tissues and even limbs like lizards. The body's response to tissue regeneration would depend on several factors, including the specific context and the type of tissue being regenerated. Here are some general principles that would come into play. First, the initial response to tissue damage is inflammation. When an injury occurs, immune cells rush to the site to remove debris and prevent infection. This inflammatory phase is essential for setting the stage for tissue repair and regeneration. Next, we enter the cell proliferation stage. Specialized cells, such as stem cells or progenitor cells, begin to divide and replace the damaged or lost tissue. In some scenarios, these cells might form a blastema, similar to what lizards create during limb regeneration. This blastema acts as a hub for new tissue formation. Following this, the extracellular matrix, or ECM, comes into play. The ECM provides structural support and acts as a scaffold, guiding cell migration and differentiation. As tissue regenerates, the ECM needs to rebuild, ensuring that new cells have a framework to grow on. Angiogenesis, the formation of new blood vessels, is another critical process. These new vessels supply oxygen and nutrients to the regenerating tissue, ensuring it has the necessary resources for proper healing. As regeneration progresses, cells differentiate into specific types, be it muscle cells, skin cells, or nerve cells, depending on their location and the signals they receive from neighboring cells. This differentiation is crucial for forming functional tissues. However, one challenge that often arises is scar formation. Scar tissue, while helpful in closing wounds, lacks the functionality of the original tissue. Balancing scar formation with true regeneration is a critical aspect of this process. Finally, we reach the stage of functional recovery. Over time, the regenerated tissue matures and integrates with the existing structures. The extent of functional recovery varies based on the type of tissue and the degree of regeneration achieved. Understanding these complex processes brings us one step closer to realizing the dream of human regeneration. While challenges remain, each discovery in this field brings us closer to a future where the human body can heal itself in ways we once thought impossible. How close are we to achieving this in reality? While we haven't quite reached the point where humans can regrow limbs like lizards, scientific research continues to explore this fascinating possibility. Let's delve into the current state of regeneration research, stem cells and tissue engineering. Scientists are investigating stem cells and tissue engineering techniques. Stem cells have the potential to differentiate into various cell types which could aid in regenerating damaged tissues. However, challenges remain in directing stem cells to form specific structures reliably. Partial successes. Some progress has been made. For instance, fingertip regeneration in humans is possible to some extent. If the fingertip is injured, the body can sometimes regenerate bone, skin and nail tissue. However, this ability is limited and not as robust as in lizards. Gene editing and activation. Researchers are exploring gene editing tools like CRISPR-Cas9 to activate dormant regenerative genes in humans. By modifying specific genetic pathways, we might unlock latent regenerative abilities. Axolotls and salamanders. Studying these creatures provides valuable insights. Axolotls can regenerate entire limbs, spinal cords, and even parts of their hearts. Understanding their cellular processes could inspire human therapies. Clinical trials. Some clinical trials focus on regenerating specific tissues such as cartilage or damaged heart tissue. While results are promising, widespread human limb regeneration remains a distant goal. Ethical and safety considerations. Achieving full limb regeneration raises ethical questions. Balancing regeneration with cancer risk and ensuring controlled tissue growth are critical challenges. We're on the brink of groundbreaking discoveries, but there is still a long road ahead. As future scientists and medical professionals, you could be the ones to bridge this gap. With continued research and innovation, the dream of human regeneration might one day become a reality. Are there any real-world examples of successful tissue regeneration in humans? Indeed, there are notable advancements in regenerative medicine and tissue engineering. Here are some real-world examples. Artificial skin. The FDA has approved engineered skin substitutes for treating burns and chronic wounds. These bioengineered skin grafts help accelerate healing and reduce scarring. Cartilage repair. Techniques like autologous chondrocyte implantation, or ACI, allow the regeneration of damaged cartilage in joints. ACI involves harvesting a patient's own cartilage cells, expanding them in the lab, and then implanting them back into the affected area. Induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSCs. Researchers reprogram mature adult cells, such as skin cells, to behave like embryonic stem cells. iPSCs hold promise for studying aging, cell growth, and developing new therapeutics. Partial regeneration. Humans can regenerate injured tissues in vivo, but typically only for limited distances, up to 2 millimeters. For instance, fingertip regeneration occurs to some extent, where bone, skin, and nail tissue can regrow. These advancements showcase the incredible potential of regenerative medicine. While we are not yet at the point of regrowing entire limbs, each breakthrough brings us one step closer to unlocking the full regenerative capabilities of the human body. What are the main obstacles to achieving human tissue regeneration? Let's explore the primary challenges. Regeneration involves intricate cellular interactions, signaling pathways, and gene expression. Understanding and controlling these processes in humans is challenging. Scar tissue often forms during wound healing, inhibiting true regeneration. Unlike lizards, which form blastomas, our healing process tends to prioritize scar tissue over tissue regeneration. Our immune system can hinder regeneration. Inflammation, immune cells, and fibrosis play crucial roles, but must be carefully balanced for successful tissue regrowth. As we age, our regenerative abilities decline. Unlocking regeneration in adults requires overcoming age-related limitations. Rapid cell division, essential for regeneration, also increases cancer risk.